Welcome to the On List. I thought I might do something a little different with this particular video, in that I will talk about fragrances that are good fragrances, but are surprisingly bad for summer. Things that you think would work well for summer weather, for hot weather, but are actually surprisingly bad. And you know, sometimes you know, the pages of a book don't match the cover, and sometimes you get fragrances that you think would be bad for summer that are actually good. I've done videos about that in the past, about fragrances that are surprisingly good for summer, things you wouldn't think to use. Now I want to do the inverse of that. I think it was season 1. It was a long time ago. I did a video about fragrances that are surprisingly good for summer, things you wouldn't think to use, things that end up being much better in summer than they appear to be. Now I want to do the opposite. I want to talk about things that appear good for summer, but are actually really bad to use in summer. So let's get started, shall we? This may surprise a lot of you. It's probably going to surprise a great deal of you. And it is this one. Uomo Moschino with a question mark. And that question mark represents the fact that this is not made for summer. It's a questionable summer fragrance, right? And this came out right in 1999, I think. 1999, maybe 2000. And so, on the outset, because I've got the notes right here, this is a tester bottle with notes on the back, so kumquat, cyclamen, clary sage, a big bright lemon note, rosewood, something called a sunlight accord. You'd think this would be great for summer. And when you first spray this, it is indeed very lemony. A lot of people will call this limoncello in a bottle. And for the opening, I can agree. The opening moments of this are very close to limoncello. But unfortunately, once you get maybe 20, 30 minutes in, you get a very big amber accord. A very big amber accord. It is not a sweet amber accord. It's not like Grand Soir by MFK. It's not that. Not sticky, not gummy, not sweet. But this becomes a big amber fragrance. All semblance of being fresh and summery really just kind of dissipate. So you are stuck with a warm, aromatic amber scent that is not really all that great for summertime. But you kind of get baited and switched with that lemon in the opening into thinking this is going to be something like that. I can understand. It's a fantastic fragrance. I love it. I love Uomo Moschino. I guess you can't tell by this bottle how much I love it, but I had a smaller one that I used up, and this was the backup that is now the primary because the smaller one's gone. So I haven't really cracked into this yet. Off topic, but typically when I have a small bottle to start with and then I buy a bigger bottle to back it up, when I've gone through the small bottle, I kind of burn out. So I haven't really come back around to this. But once I do, I'll start cracking at this one again. But just made the mistake of trying to wear this in summertime, and it's not that great. Like I said, though, fantastic fragrance, just not super good for summer. Now we have this one. And I know a lot of you big beast mode frag bro types, you know, the kind of guys that think, you know, compliments are what makes this whole thing worthwhile, right? The whole thing is just pursuit of compliments, attention from whatever sexual partner you're trying to attract. And you know, it's fine if that's your MO, then we can be friends. We can agree to disagree. But a lot of y'all compliment bros, frag bro types, you know, are going to disagree with me when I say that this is bad for summer. I know you guys aren't going to agree because you're going to be like, yeah, man, I put the Cedrat Bois, I spray 50 sprays of this on, and I go outside, and I smell like spent nuclear rods, right? I smell like Chernobyl or 3 Mile Island, and I'm like, no, that's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. And this is not a good thing to wear in summer, and I'll tell you why. And again, it's unpopular opinion, you're not going to like me for it, but this just has way too much vanilla. There's way too much vanilla in this for this to be any kind of summertime fragrance. It's got a lot of nice citrus in the opening. Okay, it's got a nice incense note. It's got a nice sandalwood note. But this is a very rich sort of citrus aromatic chypre, but reimagined with fruity notes. So it's got more modern qualities with the fruity notes in it. But that vanilla in the base and that thick sandalwood note, synthetic although it may be, it just is not good. Now, I know a lot of people will also compare this to Aventus, and I don't agree. I don't think this smells close to Aventus at all. To understand it being in the wheelhouse of Aventus, but I would wear Aventus in the summer before I would wear this. Aventus is much fresher. Aventus has the birch tarse smokiness. It has a certain... Aventus cuts the air, okay? It cuts the air in a way that this does not. This is very thick, very round, very rich. This does not cut the air the way Aventus does. So I would not, personally, would not wear this in the summertime. It's a good fragrance, though. I love it. But I just wouldn't wear it in summer. That would be a mistake, in my opinion. Moving right along. It's another one that a lot of y'all are going to say is great in summer, but I am going to disagree with. And it is this little guy right here. Yeah, here we go. Once again, I have to give the shout out to the whole Jeremy Fragrance Army for making this scent stay relevant almost 20 years after release. Most things, unless you're Aqua di Gio or one of those, right? Most things don't really get to stay relevant for more than a decade after they release. But because of the whole association with Jeremy Fragrance, this whole fragrance line, this YSL L'Homme, has been kept on the books, and just more flankers have come out. A lot of limited flankers that people are now going gaga for because they come out for like 1 year and then get discontinued, and all the collectors got to run out and buy them. So I mean, that's a good thing in the end, right? I guess that's a good thing, but just overall, the scent itself, it's just not good for summer. This is a very sweet and spicy. It's got apple notes, it's got ginger notes, it's got amber in this. To me, this is like an apple pie kind of a fragrance. Lavender, you know, it is not something that I would wear in the summertime. But I know a lot of y'all think it's fresh, and you think it's clean, and think it's good and summery. I will say that it doesn't suck in summer. This isn't the worst thing you could wear in summer, but it is, to me, the high heat, when you have a lot of rounded, spicy notes like this, sweet, spicy notes, I feel like it doesn't stand out enough against humidity. It doesn't stand out enough against high heat. It kind of merges with your skin. And that may be why Jeremy puts like 100 million sprays on, because he's trying to wear it in the dead of summer. It's not a great summer fragrance, so perhaps that's why he can't smell it and he has to wear a ton of it. But if you're smart, you know, and I'm not saying that he's stupid, I'm just saying when it comes to fragrance choices, you know, he may be great at picking what's popular, but I don't think he always has the best situational awareness, if you know what I'm saying. So I feel like there are better things you could wear in high heat than this. And another one. This is another one that's going to make the Frag Bro Army very angry at me, because the Frag Bro Army likes this fragrance. Once again, this is Invictus by Paco Rabanne, the original Invictus. Now I understand there's an aqua, okay? But there have been like 3 different aquas. There was the original aqua that was only out for a single year. Everyone went crazy for that after it was discontinued. Nobody liked it when it was on the market. But then once it wasn't on the market anymore, suddenly everybody wanted it. And the YouTubers hyped it up. I think Jeremy Fragrance, again, was involved with that. So then we get the second version. And the second version is much sweeter, much rounder, closer to this perfume. And that version of Invictus Aqua, I wouldn't wear in summer either. It was an oddly not really summer appropriate fragrance. It was just kind of like a less musky, sweeter version of this. Then the newest version of Aqua is basically the first version, but brought back with some subtle tweaks. I don't know, man. But I just don't think any version of this, really. The DNA in this fragrance, okay, big juniper berries, big bay leaf, this waxy sort of olive, and I've gone on length about talking about the waxy black olive, oily black olive accord that's in this. That waxy, salty black olive accord mixing with the juniper berries, mixing with the bay leaf, with the big bubblegum ethyl maltol, and then all of that on top of a bunch of tonka bean and ambroxan. And there's a musk profile in the OG here, not in the later ones, but in the OG one there's a musk profile. And I am like, this is not a summer fragrance. And when you cats leave the house and you're dripped in a bunch of this stuff, and it's 85 degrees outside, 90 degrees outside, and you're dripped in a bunch of this stuff, you make me want to gag. Make me want to gag. Best time to use this, spring, maybe late summer when it begins to turn colder, like right before fall comes in, you know, or if you're in an office environment, if you're inside, you're in temperature controlled environment, then you can do what you want. But if you're outside, you work outside, you're shopping, you're on the high street, wherever you are, please do not wear this outside when it's 85, 90 degrees outside. This is cloying as fuck. In high heat, this is cloying as fuck. The only thing more cloying than this would be like Jope Homme by Wolfgang Jope. That would be worse. But this is not a summer fragrance. I don't believe it should be worn in summer. I'm like, you wouldn't wear Eros in summer, so why would you wear that? So, another one is going to be this. I don't have the actual BR540 because I don't like the scent profile enough to spend what, $400 on it now? It's ridiculous. So I got the clone, which the clone is an arm off. Because for $30, I can handle this. For $400, I can't handle this. But the whole point, once again, this is not a summer fragrance. Any version of Baccarat Rouge 540 or its derivatives or its clones like this is not for high heat. And I smell a lot of ladies, not so much guys. Guys know a little better. I think guys know a little. I mean, guys wear this too. Don't get me wrong. Guys wear BR 540 too, but I think guys know a little better. They know a little better and they understand a little better that you don't go putting something like this on when it's 90 degrees outside. But past couple days it's been hot, and I have smelled the ladies, and the ladies are dripped out in this. And good golly, Miss Molly, we got ourselves a wild one. I can't do it. It's just too much. Again, it's sweet, it's cloying, there's this sharp overdose of some kind of clary sage material and invernal in here, and it is just not, it is not good in high heat. This is not something I would wear in the high heat. Wouldn't do it. More of a spring fragrance, more of a fall fragrance, that kind of thing. Not great in high heat. And now we have another one that I would not wear in high heat. Now, another potential unpopular choice. Not so much with the Frag Bros. I don't think Frag Bros really mess with Gucci anymore. Maybe they did 10, 15 years ago, but now they moved on to the usual suspects. You know, obviously the Invictuses, the Creeds, the Sauvage type things, the big Ganymede type things. That's what the Frag Bros like now. The big heavy bomb fragrances. They don't really mess with these anymore. These are more like the purview of teens, people who are more into fashion TikTok, not really fragrances. But you know, the influencer types, the Vitaly, Johnny Somali types or whatever, they're the ones that wear this sort of shit now. But same sort of deal, man. You don't wear this in summer. It's very aromatic. It's very fresh. In spring, this is great. In spring, any permutation of this in springtime. This is the original bottle. This is the 2011 original bottle. Any permutation of this is going to be great. But once you get in high heat, you get humidity. Same sort of thing. The sweetness in this becomes very cloying very quickly. If you manage to get the discontinued intense version, the intense version is a little less sweet, a little sharper, more patchouli in this, a little more cedarwood. You might be able to pull this off, but it still wouldn't be an optimal choice. Now, one of the few flankers I would wear in high heat, sadly also discontinued, is the cologne version. This one I could do in high heat because it's mostly narrowly and heliotrope, and it's a fresh, clean, powdery kind of thing, but not so powdery that you wouldn't want it on your skin in high heat. But yeah, none of these are really super good for high heat, but you could do this one. Most of the Gucci line I would not. So the next one up, that is good fragrance, but not really great for high heat. Is going to be this is going to be kind of an unpopular choice too. Y'all aren't going to like me when I say this, but it is what it is. Where is it? Where are we at here? Aha, okay, here it is. So this guy right here, a lot of people seem to think that it's great to wear this at high heat. And this is not so much something that I really see people in the wild wear at high heat, but this is more like friends and fellow collectors and things like that. But Cartier Roadster, not the best choice for high heat. And once again, it comes down to vanilla. So yeah, mint sounds like a good choice for high heat. Cedarwood, patchouli, none of these things really sound all that bad in high heat. But when it comes down to it, when the chips fall, the vanilla gets in the way. And while it's not the worst thing, it's not going to be super duper cloying, but it is just something that you don't want to wear in high heat. They make a sport version, and the sport version is greener, more spearmint, more herbs, more mandarin orange in that, stronger cedarwood. The sport version I would definitely wear in high heat, but the original Roadster I would not. Not great in summer. And now, here we go, another one that I would not really wear in summer. Where are we at here? Haha. This one, and by extension also Creed Original Santal, because that's a mod of this. Original Santal is a mod of Individuel, but neither this nor its upmarket cousin are really okay for high heat usage. Now, thing is, this is another one that you're not going to find a lot of young kids wearing anymore. I mean, maybe 15 years ago you'd see younger kids wearing this. Now this was more, again, more collectors, more enthusiasts. I mean, it's still very popular. It's still being made. It's not discontinued, but it was for a time, and then it was brought back. But just the spiciness and the sweetness of this, it's a derivative of Jupe or Jope, because Michael Almirac and Pierre Bourdon worked together on Jope, even though Pierre Bourdon didn't get any credit for it. And then he would take that composition and sort of mess with it and change it and turn it into Individuel, make it a bit drier, a bit soapier, a bit cleaner, more based around spice, less around sweetness, but it's still not a summer fragrance. And whenever I smell Original Santal or this, or one of the two, can't really tell, whenever I smell them in the air on anybody, and like I said, it's not so much young guys anymore, it's more 30-somethings and up, but so millennials and up, I guess. It's not. It just too cloying. Okay, the spices don't hit right. If you want to wear a spicy fragrance in the summertime, in the high heat, it needs to be dry. You need to wear dry spices in high heat, not sweet ones. Okay, you don't want to wear cinnamon. You don't want to wear allspice. You don't want to wear that stuff in high heat. You want to be spicy. Okay, I get it. You want to be spicy. wear dry spices. Pink pepper, black pepper, nutmeg, things like that. Dry spices. Dusty. It's what you want in high heat. So if you absolutely need to wear a spicy fragrance, my vote is something like this. This Cartier L'Homme. This would actually be a good fragrance to wear in high heat because it's a lot of dry bergamot, cedar wood, okay, nutmeg in this, mace. So mace is a very peppery note. It's a capsaicin note. So that dry, peppery woodiness, that works well in high heat. You could get away with this in high heat, but not the Individual. By extension, you could also do like a spice bomb. A spice bomb would work in high heat. It's dry. The original spice bomb, not the extreme. Don't do the extreme. So. You could do this one, but I still wouldn't, but you could. You could. Now, so there you have it, man. Fragrances that are good fragrances that I like, that I would not wear in the summer. You think they'd be good for summertime use, but they're really not. And I'm going to have one more for you before I wrap this video up, because we're not quite at the allotted amount of time yet. I'll leave 30 minutes, and we're still running a little short. So I'll throw in one extra, but it's not really a fragrance that you guys would know of or use. It's obscure. It's not popular. So if I say don't wear this in summertime, you're not going to own the fragrance anyway, so you're not going to be able to wear it in summertime. But if you did somehow own it, it's not a good choice. But it's this guy right here. Bowling Green. Not a lot of people have this fragrance. This came out in '84. It was Geoffrey Beane's second and so far only other men's fragrance. It was discontinued shortly after it came out. Developed a bit of a cult following, and then it was reissued when EA Fragrances took over the fragrance license for Geoffrey Beene. Now it's discontinued again, and it's kind of a it's become a unicorn again, so it's become expensive again. But like I said, it's not something that I expect a lot of people to have. But what really kills this as a summer fragrance is the fact that it has this really sort of resinous base. So it's got sandalwood, real or fake, and it's got a bunch of labdanum and resinous notes in it. So it has this sort of sticky kind of feeling in the dry down. So you get the green notes, you get the lemon verbena, very fresh, very nice up top. But then when it dries down, it becomes way thicker and more aromatic. It's not the best thing for summertime. It's okay for spring, it's okay for fall, but in the dead of heat, this is not going to get it for you. It's not going to get it done. If you want to wear a fragrance with lemon verbena in it for summertime, you can do something like Aspen or if you have the money to spend, Green Irish Tweed is a good lemon verbena fragrance, or you can do Duc de Vervins. Duc de Vervins by Houbagot, nice big lemon verbena. Those would all be great in summertime, but the Bowling Green, I feel like, is more of a springtime, more of an early fall kind of fragrance. I don't think it's great for summer, but since, like I said, not a lot of people have this, so it's not. It's a nothing burger. It's a nothing burger to recommend to avoid wearing it in summer because a lot of y'all don't have it anyway. Just saying. Not really popular. Only vintage guys. You know the deal. Vintage guys are going to have that, so I'm not speaking to a very wide audience with that one. But I just wanted to make the 30-minute mark so I can justify the video. So there you go. So for all 5 of you out there who own Bowling Green, don't wear it in summer. So there you go. Good fragrances that are surprisingly not that great in summer. This has been the Unlist. I'll catch you later.